sometimes you have to risk it. Like if you're trying to win, if you're trying to be the best in the world, you have to risk something. Like you can't just get there by the safe training, you know? I just haven't seen it.
That was Morgan Pearson today on the Running Effect podcast. I'm your host, Dominic Schluter. I'm thrilled you've clicked on today's episode. Morgan is one of the best triathletes in the world. He's also a remarkable runner himself. He recently actually at the Houston Half Marathon ran a 1:01:01 half marathon, which is absolutely remarkable. So impressive. That was a PR for him by 7 seconds. Also recently this year, he signed a deal with HOKA. We talk about that in today's conversation. And he's a two-time Olympic silver medalist. He won his first silver medal at the 2020 Olympics, where he anchored the U.S. mixed relay team. And then this past year in the Paris Olympics, he won another silver medal as a member of the mixed relay team as well. Morgan is a stud. He's so impressive in how he excels both in triathlon and in the sport of running at a variety of distances, from the half marathon to cross country to he ran an indoor mile last weekend. So Morgan's a stud. Really enjoyed this conversation. He works harder than just about anyone, so I gleaned a lot of insights from his work ethic, and know you will as well. If you enjoy this one, please consider giving us a follow and a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Hit the subscribe button specifically if you're on YouTube, and share this episode or your favorite episode of the podcast with a friend, a family member, someone who you think would find value and benefit from it. With all those notes aside, I hope you all enjoyed this conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, Morgan Pearson. Morgan Pearson, welcome to the Running Effect podcast. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing really good. Came across your name a couple of years ago, and my brother-in-law, who was doing some Ironmans at the time, I think came across you as well. And he had no background in sports, so you were one of those figures that we bonded over. And one of the things we got a good kick out of, as well did most of the internet, your rules on Twitter, or I guess X. Can you take the people behind the rules of Morgan Pearson and how these came about?
Yeah, the rules. Let's see. It probably started around 2020. And it's kind of funny thinking about it. I feel like 2020 was like a weird time with COVID and all that, because being an Olympic, hopeful, like I wasn't about to like change my career around, change my life around. The Olympics were like a year, they postponed it. It's obviously a year away now. But at the same time, we're training a lot and training hard, but we still you have a little bit more freedom with your, I don't know about it. It's not like I had much more free time than I do now, but just things are I just feel like that energy that was spent traveling and racing is just you just kind of have it and hold on to it. And I think that was kind of when it started, because my friend Matt and I were he just started making rules. He made the first one. I think it was every session's a key session. But then I just felt like I was super creative with them back then, because I just had a little more of that creative energy, just because we weren't traveling and racing. So we were just I just remember training for months and months, trying to still improve myself so I can make it to the Olympics the next year. But yeah, that creative energy was just flowing, man. And we just came up with the rules. All of them are it's kind of silly, I'd say, but a lot of them are there's a lot of truth to them too. So it's kind of who I am as a person, an expression of I'm pretty, I kind of seem serious, maybe to the outsider, but I think once you get to know me, it's a little more joking around and stuff like that. So, if you just read the rules, you're dang, this guy's serious. He's heavy. But if you really read into him, it's okay, he's joking around a little here. At least for some of them. So yeah, man, it was fun. I every so often I still make one. We want to get to 100 rules, and then eventually make a coffee book or something like that. I mean, not, whatever. It's probably not going to make, we're not going to make we're not going to get rich or anything, make money from it. But I just think it'd be cool to kind of get some cool photos, maybe some, something of us training or at races, just kind of a memory book almost. So I don't come up with them as much as I used to. And I think it's because during COVID, you just had all that creative time. I don't know about you, but like I think it was like a unique time for some of that stuff.
For sure.
I mean,
I
I
mean, this
remember.
podcast started July of COVID year, so
Yeah, totally,
yeah,
dude. Like, yeah, like that's a great example. Like, I remember there's like YouTube's popping up and stuff, and there's just stuff like that, man. Like, I think it was, obviously, no one liked it. No one liked the pandemic and people getting sick and all that. But it was a unique time for a lot of people. So, yeah.
going through a few of the rules, and I'll read it, and then just you expand on it however little or much you want to, and hopefully get you a few more X followers out of this. Rule 48, love this one. So funny. This shows the funny personality. If you have the energy to cook yourself fancy meals, you're not training hard enough.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much true. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know um, your audience is mostly runners, and obviously, as a runner, like, you guys, a professional runner trains really hard. But like as a triathlete, it's just like it's different. Like the workouts maybe themselves aren't like as intense, but the total volume is really high. And uh, for me, as like a professional, trying to take it serious, trying to get to the top level, I've noticed like it's hard to cook meals like that are, it's a balance. I actually was thinking about it just before this because I got done with a run session this morning, and I'm like, I got home and made some like eggs and toast, which is like, I mean, I don't know, it's not that hard to make, and I'm just like, dang, dude, like it's so hard to like balance, just like eating healthy almost and training hard, um, because like, well, like there's the one side of it, like you got to make sure you're getting the calories, the carbs, the protein, and all that. But then there's the other side of like you don't want to be like just like eating all this crappy food. So it's a little different than the rule. Like the rule is more about like if you're putting a lot of time and energy into that, like going to the grocery store every day and getting like, spending all that time going to the grocery store, and spending like an hour of prep, like that's a lot of energy. It's a lot of time on your feet. Like I don't have that time to make those meals. Like last night, man, I just made rice. Like I just have a rice cooker and then ground beef, and then it's like a taco bowl. Like I get like salsa and guacamole and from the grocery store, and just throw it in a giant bowl, some cheese, maybe if I'm feeling fancy, like cut up an onion and put it in the ground beef. Like that's as fancy as I go, man. So yeah, yeah, if you're putting too much time and energy into cooking, like maybe you're not training hard enough, especially if you're trying to like be world class triathlete. Yeah, that's all I can talk for, I guess.
That should be the quote on the graphic, and just see how many clicks that gets. Love it. On a more serious note, rule 45, maximize the 99% before you worry about the 1%.
Yeah, yeah, this one's probably less joking around, but like I just think I forget why this I don't remember. I mean, I feel like this is kind of a common saying almost, but I just put it in my own words. But as a triathlete, like there's so many little things you can do, little like actually, I'll give a little example. So yesterday I was talking to my girlfriend Molly, who's out of town right now, and I used to have a strength coach, but he left, he moved, so I'd meet him, and then he moved, and then I was like, it was just like it was kind of a lot because he'd give me these lifts, and it'd be like, dude, it was a lot. It was kind of comes back to like the cooking thing. Like it's a lot of energy. If I'm training, like sometimes 30 hours a week, like that's a lot of energy and time. And then I want to spend time like, resting and recovering. And then also like I want to spend time like turning off from, triathlon and like being able to like take my mind off it. And then, I want to spend time like, which I wouldn't count as training or lifting, but like spending time, doing some maintenance stuff for my body, foam rolling, stretching, mobility, which is really important to me. So it's like, if I want to lift, like it's, I don't want to be in there for more than an hour, and, maybe two lifts a week. And so 2 hours of lifting a week, like that sounds doable, but, if you're doing a good job, like, and taking the rest between reps and lifting heavy and like you really can't get that much done. You know, like you maybe like 4 or 5 exercises in the gym per lift, which is, and I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is like I need to like, for example, like I was doing a hex, the hex bar lift or squat or deadlift, whatever you call it, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
there's a million. You talk to different strength coaches and this and that, and we were talking. My girlfriend and I were talking about. I'm like, I don't need to be like this. Isn't I'm not training to be a lifter. Like I'm training for the triathlon. So like as I feel like as long as I'm getting some variation of it, like I don't need to like be you got to do the single leg squat on this day and do 5 reps of 80% of the strength. Like there's so many ways to complicate it. I think the 90% or whatever was it 99%, the 90%. That's just
Yeah.
like making sure I get in and do the lift, and I'm doing some variation of like those really important movements and doing good form and a good job versus like I don't need to like extremely worry about the number of reps, how many in each rep or how many in each round. Like that stuff's like if you're really trying to like if that's your job, like a professional lifter, like that's what you need to worry about. For me, it's like swim, bike, run, massage, all this shit, like sleep and eat. I would put even for lifting. Like this is like the sixth or seventh thing that I'm like that's taking me to the next level, which is important, but I can't stress about it, man. And then you create like getting rid of that stress also takes away from performance. So I don't know. That maybe not be the best job of explaining that rule, but like that's just an example in the past couple days, man.
Rule 43, love this one. I don't think enough people talk about this, especially for you. I know you train with a lot of people in the Boulder area across many disciplines and groups, but rule 43 is don't be mad at someone for dropping you in training. They're making you better.
Yeah, man, that's a good rule. Yeah, dude, like I just think people are kind of soft with that, like especially these days, with like the lactate meters and heart rate monitor. Like, and I'm not saying that stuff's not valuable information, um, but I think like if someone's feeling good and they drop you and they're like maybe they're just a better runner than you, like at the end of the day, that's elevating you. I've never surrounded myself with a group of athletes, whether it's swim, bike, or run, and not not gotten something out of it when they drop me. Uh, I mean, like honestly, like the most there's nothing better than getting dropped in training. Actually, for me, especially as a triathlete, because it just you can always level up in some way, and yeah, there's just nothing better. Like you have to frame it like that. Like I think some people are just scared to get dropped in training, and they I don't know, they want to see their training partners do well, but like if their training partner is having a good session and maybe dropping them on the run or whatever, um, they frame it as they're going too hard. And first off, like if they are, it's not your result. Like these are individual sports we're doing. So like, why do you like? I doubt you really care. What you care is your ego getting a little hurt, and like that you got to frame it in the other way. Like this is helping me. Like I'm getting pushed, or at least I'm seeing. Sometimes just even if you let them go and you get dropped, but just seeing that level is good too. Like I feel like knowing that there's always someone better out there. Like you don't. It's so easy to be complacent and just be like, I'm the best. I mean, maybe. I mean, like I've seen it. Like there's been times where I get like a little bit, I don't know, cocky. Like I'm doing really well in training, and then sometimes I need that person to drop me, or that guy to just like destroy me in the pool or whatever it is. So I like it. I like it, and I think most people would it'd be good for most people.
Really like rule 4 of yours, overtrain until it's not overtraining. I've heard this said before, never heard it explained, but I know where you're going with it. But tell the people.
Yeah, man. I mean, I take credit for this rule. Like I've seen a lot of people use it on like, which is kind of cool. Like people that probably don't even know that I said it first. Um, so yeah, that's pretty cool to see. Just like knowing people can relate. But I just think I think when you're young, and you're like coming up, you kind of have to like I guess if you're if you're a citizen runner, like someone who's not, trying to perform at the highest level, and all you want to do is like finish a marathon, um, then you want to be smart. Like you don't want to risk injury, and like you just want to finish that marathon. Like get a coach who's gonna kind of like get you there. Know like a natural progression of mileage and the right workouts, and you're like, if that's your goal. But if your goal is to be world class or national class, or maybe you're uh, I don't know, trying to make the Olympic trials in the marathon or something, like, and you're pretty far off. Like at the end of the day, the level is the level, like, and you have to get there. So sometimes you just gotta like, and I know like it's not. I know there's a lot of coaches out there, like internet coaches, um, with podcasts and this sort of thing that like are probably gonna hate that I'm saying this, but like sometimes you have to risk it. Like if you're trying to win, if you're trying to be the best in the world, like you 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 have to risk something. Like you can't just get there by the safe training. It's just, I don't know. I just haven't seen it.
Also, I would say, curious to get your thoughts on this. And obviously, I think if you're a younger athlete, you have to be smart and do things within moderation. But through
Yeah,
overtraining, it unlocks a level of new training. And it like, this is how your physiology works, is like all my biggest breakthroughs in high school cross country, like every summer, you'd add the classic 5-10 miles a week to your training. And at first it'd be scary because it was something you had never done before and your legs were sore and they were tired,
yeah,
but soon you'd adjust, and then it was the new baseline. And I think the key is, how do you find those new
exactly.
baselines through
Yeah.
overtraining strategically?
And I'm not saying like, I don't know. It's hard to put into like, because I'm not being like, oh, you just train until you blow up and like get injured. Like, no, try to be smart about it. But like you said, like if you're just constantly doing the same stuff and that's your training level, you're gonna have struggle to make those breakthroughs. Where I've seen my biggest breakthroughs is when I do kind of step it up in training, and maybe at first it is a little bit hard. Um, a good example of this is, I remember in college we used to talk about, because I was more like running and mileage is a little bit easier, like put into words than triathlon stuff. But people would just like, I'm gonna run 100 miles a week, and I actually believe that if you run 100 miles a week for maybe a month, like 2 months, you'll probably get slower. You're gonna get slower because you're gonna get tired. You're gonna lose some of that speed at first, and because you're not gonna be able to do the same workouts. Like you're gonna be tired in the workouts, and they're not gonna go as well. Um, but it could take like 6 months, maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then you're gonna see that breakthrough. So it's like, I guess to wrap it up, the rule is like, it's more like, if you're gonna like, sometimes you have to um, go a little bit past what you're used to and realize the performance is delayed. Like and you have to be okay with that. Like you have to like be willing to be like, you have to be willing to say, okay, these workouts are really hard, I might fail some of them, or this mileage is really hard for me, I might be tired in the workouts for a few months, but know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And then when hopefully the body adjusts and you adapt, and that's when you make a breakthrough.
We'll do a few more here. I remember this one catching wind at the time of you posting it. Rule 26: one sip of alcohol is minus 5 days of training.
Yeah, yeah. Like so, I had a friend in college. Her name was well, she went to Arizona. Her name's Elvin Cabet, and one time she said that to me, and I honestly just thought it was hilarious. Like it just stuck with me. It was hilarious, and so she I don't know. There's like, obviously, like drinking alcohol is uh it's not going to help your performance, but obviously, once of alcohols, that might not be true. Minus 5 days training, but it's so funny. And it's just like, it's just so funny to say to people, like, because I mean, I don't really, I mean, I'll have, in the off season, whatever, have something to drink, but I'm not like, I don't drink beer normally. Like, it's not like I do something casual like that. So, and people like ask me, and I'm just, oh yeah, one sip is minus 5 days training. So, it's a joke for sure, but I think it's so funny, and people get so
such a personal attack. They
Well,
feel
yeah,
like, and
people
then
get
they're
like
like, yeah,
attacked, and I'm like, dude, like I don't actually like what? Like, it's not like it's true.
right, right. Bringing us more up to speed here. Rule 74: long run is an easy day. It's
Isn't?
definitely from your C. Yeah, long run is an
Oh
easy day.
yeah, dude.
It's
I mean,
definitely from
this
your
is
CU days when y'all would rip 6 minute pace.
yeah, man. I mean, I think it's important to do. Even I just think I don't know. For me at least, that's how I like to do it. Like if I'm gonna go for a long run, I want to treat it like a treat it serious. Like it's not like I I hate like just like running a long run from my front door, um, and just like or like not really like having a plan. For me, like even if I'm training alone or like even if I'm not meeting someone for the long run, like I'm just solo that day. I usually plan out the day before. Okay, like I'm gonna go here. This is the route, and it's just like I just get so much more out of the run. Whether even if it's not like super fast, like I just really like treating it like a workout. I think it tends to go better. I tend to recover better from it. Just having that plan, like okay, I'm gonna. It's a hot day. I'm gonna like loop over here, so there's some water fountains. I'm gonna do like loops of this, 5 mile trail, so I can get gels every 5 miles or whatever it is. Like, or maybe I'm meeting someone, and they're doing like 6 miles, so I'm gonna do six of them, and then the last 10 miles I'm gonna do like a little bit faster and have a 10 mile loop. It's just yeah, it's just for me it's important, and I think like in triathlon a lot you just see people like slogging out these like long runs, and like they're do like they'll like do like 90 minutes or maybe like 80 minutes, and but like 10 miles in like 80 minutes, and it's like 10 miles isn't even a long run. Like we're training for a 2 hour race, which like I get, like you don't need to run 2 hours hard every weekend. That's pretty aggressive on the legs, a 20-mile long run every week at six flat pace. But doing 10 miles in 80 minutes, like dude, like what? Like I don't know, I just like I would not, I feel like I would get worse from that. Like I'd almost like get injured, like running that, like I don't mind running slow on some easy days, go out for a 30-minute shuffle and run like 7:38 minute pace, like that's fine. But like doing 80 minutes like that, I feel like my like tendons are gonna get messed up. So I don't know, man.
We'll do one more. I have no clue what you mean here. Rule 75: if you train like a donut, you're gonna race like a donut.
I forget exactly who this was about, but it definitely was about someone, because like I would like see their training and I'm just like, it's just not, they're not like training at the level that they think they are. And a donut, like it's a bit of an insult, to be honest, calling someone a donut. I mean, it's like it's not that mean, like it's a donut, like I mean I've been called a donut, like it's not that hurtful, so I'm not like, I don't think it's that, it's a bit of an insult, but I forget where it started. But we call each other donuts, and like it's like, dude, stop being a donut. Like for example, someone doing like a 10-mile run in 80 minutes. I would say, like for someone that might be a really good run. I'm not trying to insult, like it's relative, because like if someone's listening to your podcast and like maybe they're trying to break 4 hours in the marathon, like that's a good training. But for me, like someone who's like I'll break 14 in the 5K, like no problem, or something like that. Like I'm at that level where 80 minutes for 10 miles is just like, that's a donut run. And if I see someone doing that and I see that their training's kind of like that, and then they don't race well, it's like, dude, like if you're training like a donut, you're gonna race like a donut. It's not as complicated as it sounds, but yeah.
I love it. On to more recent news. You recently signed with HOKA. Take the people through this decision, and what's it like to have this brand supporting you?
Yeah, bro, I got the HOKA. You complimented my collared shirt. I made sure I was wearing
That one definitely has the fuzz in it, because I have one like that.
Yeah,
My version is
yeah,
just gold.
yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty cool. Jacket, sweatshirt, or collared shirt, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got a new manager this year, and yeah, I mean he we started talking a little bit. I ran Valencia half marathon like in October, like that. And I didn't talk. I was talking to someone else who kind of connected us, and then yeah, man, I like it's coming off the Olympic year and all that. So I was looking to make some changes just in my life, and yeah, I started working with him, and yeah, I mean, he I think he reached out to a couple different brands, but the one thing that was really cool about HOKA, which um, they're really supportive of like who I am as an athlete. Like which there's so many Ironman guys out there, and like when people think of a triathlon in the United States, it's like, do you do an Ironman? Do you go to Kona? And like, I'm not saying I'll never do that, but right now that's just like not the athlete I am. I'm focusing on like Olympic distance, and then I'm gonna do some T100 racing this year as well. And then I also just like love doing running races. I mean, last year I started the year doing US Cross and qualified for the World Cross team. I didn't go, but I still I got fourth there and qualified. And then I kind of finished the year in Valencia, the half marathon. So, doing these running races, I think it's something that I think I really enjoy, to be honest. I think there's a huge. I know it. I think it's good for me to do. Um, it's good for me to do as an athlete because obviously running is a huge part of the triathlon, and it kind of keeps me. For example, last weekend I did a mile and a 3K, like a home meet, kind of like a local meet, I guess. And I actually ran quite poorly, but it's such a good check in. Like it's so easy as a triathlete to kind of like lie to yourself of where you're at. Because like you're always kind of tired in training, the workouts maybe don't, you can be like, oh, I did a 5 mile tempo run, and like I was a little slower than like a year ago when I did the same workout, but like I biked for like 3 hours before instead of 2 hours before, like stuff like that. And I'm not saying like you don't need to compare, like it's not like, I'm not someone who's like staring at the training and comparing, but it's just good to do a check-in too. So yeah, I mean, Hoka was like really supportive of that. That I really enjoy doing the running stuff, and I kind of want to like maybe take it a little more serious, especially as I build towards the LA Olympics, because there's a chance that I try to run the Olympic trials in the marathon. Um, so yeah, I mean they're supportive of kind of that goal, or like maybe not goal because I don't know if I'm going to do it, but they're kind of supportive of that journey of like, oh, this guy's a triathlon. He's doing the short course triathlon. He might do the Olympic trials marathon and like still try to qualify in the triathlon. And they also, they're still involved with the long course stuff too. So I think they just get it. And yeah, man, honestly, it was it was interesting. Like they sent me some gear. Actually, I have right here. But then they sent me this one,
Mm-hmm.
the race shoe, Celio X Celio 2.0. And I put it on because like I'm pretty picky about the racing shoes. I had like I've had a couple little offers over the years with running shoes, and I just always wanted to be like in a shoe that I really believed in. And yeah, when they sent me this, I was just like, I didn't know what to expect. But I really liked it. Like I really liked it. Like I put it on one foot and then I put it on the other foot. I have my favorite shoe going up to that point, my favorite racing shoe, and like I was like, I mean they were different. Like they weren't. It's not like they were the same, but I was like, I really like it. Like I really want to race in it, and I want to see how it goes. And yeah, that was kind of it for me. Like after that, I was like, okay, um, this is a great opportunity.
You obviously mentioned your pursuits in triathlon, and those who are familiar with you, I'm sure, familiar with those pursuits and what you've done over the years, including the two silver medals at recent Olympic Games. But then you also have that running side of you where you're doing cross races, you're doing road races, you're doing halves, you have ambitions of making your way up to the full. What do you feel like you're best at, as well as what are you passionate about? And are those things the same or different?
Oh, that's a great question, man. I think my best might be uh this T100 I'm about to do. Honestly, like I think it might take me a few tries, but it's I'm pretty it just suits me. Because for example, I did my first half Ironman in the December, and that was like I was so unconfident going into that race. Because I just wasn't comfortable on the bike. It's a time trial bike instead of the road bike. And then it's the yeah, it was just a lot longer, and I didn't train that much on the time trial bike going into the race. Like I didn't have a ton of time, and I was in the middle of moving too. We moved, just like homes, not not location, but it's still a lot, a tall ask. So I was moving, and then it was also like Thanksgiving, and I had some other I had to go to New York City. This is all over the span of a month, so it's like it sounds like I'm making excuses, but it was just a very busy month on top of training for this race. So I did the 70.3, and I was actually able to like win the race. And then including that, I also got a flat tire on the bike, so like that kind of didn't help. And like I was like I really surprised myself, and it really wasn't, like the run I even shut down, and I was like, wow, maybe this is actually like my better event. I think part of that is just like uh I didn't grow up biking and stuff, so like riding on in a Peloton versus like a time trial bike, it's not something that's extremely natural to me. I have to work at it. I also like my tactics are maybe something I could work on. So whereas like the 70.3 distance or T100 distance, that's something that maybe it's less tactical. It's more just about like fitness and power. And then yeah, the run itself, like I felt pretty good on the run, and like obviously, half marathon ish. Well, half marathon for the 70.3. That's a good distance for me on the run. So yeah, we'll see. I really want to I really still want to get the short course triathlon right. Like I've had good races, but maybe inconsistent. So my dream is to, have my best race at the Paris, excuse me, the LA Olympics. I mean, I'll be a bit older, but I still think I have growth, and being a home Olympics is just such a dream. What a way to end a career at a home Olympics. So yeah, I'm gonna do some of the T100 stuff this year, and we'll see what happens over the next 4 years. But I really want to get that Olympic distance right, and I think it's well within me to do it.
What would you say motivates you the most in training these days?
It's a great question. These days, because like going into Houston, it's just little goals along the way. I started triathlon in 2018. And the goal was always, I would say from then was always to make the Olympics. How am I going to get to Tokyo? And then so I made it to Tokyo. Obviously, had that COVID year, so the Olympics was delayed, and then I didn't really have that. I would say 2020 one would normally be kind of like not an off year, but it's almost like you could step back and not focus on the Olympics. But we didn't have that because of COVID. So then it was like kind of just straight back into the Paris Olympics, and qualifying and doing this and getting so like up into Paris. It's always been the Olympics in my triathlon career, and this year is it's just a bit different, and it's kind of nice. Like I love the Olympics, and like even this morning on my run, I was thinking about LA a little, just like I don't know, like I forget I was listening to some song about like talking about like home turf or some shit. And I'm like, yeah, LA, let's go. Like, just like I was just warming up to some music, and it's just getting like I wasn't even thinking about it, and then they started talking about like home soil or something. I was like, damn, like let's go. But like this year, I'm just I don't know, man. I'm just trying to like enjoy it. Like I know I don't really like motivation. It's just like I love to train, and like I love to like really take it serious and like get after it, and uh, I think what motivates me is knowing that I can be really good, and I've shown that, but I want to continue to show that and do it at a more consistent level. so that's what's motivating me right now. Like, I just want to be like the best I can be, and I think I can be the best. So, um, yeah, I mean that's the motivating. I know that's not like a crystal clear answer, but this year is all about just like getting out there, racing, doing what I love. Like I love, that's one thing that I've kind of noticed coming off the Olympics of like, because I'm a little old. Like I'm not old, but I'm 31. I was 30 in Paris. So like a lot of guys might just be like fully, like, okay, pretty good career, 2 Olympic medals in the relay, like 2 Olympic games, I've done some good races, whatever. But like I just realized like I actually love this. It's not every day that like it's not like I enjoy every day of my life. Like there's tough days that I kind of got to push through and like, jump, like wake up and jump, go to the pool or whatever it is. But I just love it. So like it's almost like I'm not motivated right now. It's just like I'm just doing because I enjoy it and I love it, and I'm motivated to improve and do well. But it's not like I'm like I don't feel like I have anything to prove anymore. I just want to like I think if you talk to someone that knew me when I was like in high school or something, or like even college, and you're like, oh yeah, Morgan, he's got like he'll get 2 Olympic medals in the next like 8 years or whatever, 10 years. I think they'd just be like, they would think it's a joke. So, yeah, I feel pretty like I don't want to say satisfied because I'm definitely not satisfied. Uh, I feel like there's times where I get pissed off. Like I'm just like pissed off because of like one race, a decision I made in a race or something that happened in a race. Like for the Paris Olympics, I just get pissed off about that race, the individual race that is. I just get pissed off throughout the day, like not every day, but like just like what the f, man, or like sometimes I'll have a great training, like I'll like do a great workout, I'll have a great swim, I'll have a great bike, great run, and then I'll just be like kind of like stoked on it for like a little, and then I'm like pissed off, and I'm like, why can't I show this in the race? Like I don't know who else is doing this stuff in training. Like I just don't. To be honest, like I mean, I could like the workouts I do. Like I mean, there's other good guys. Like maybe the top guys are, um, but there's not more than a few. And I would say there might be one or two that can. So it's. I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm kind of just
No, it
yeah.
definitely does. Gives people an inside look at your mindset. One
Yeah.
more one more serious question for you, and then I'll let you get back to your training and recovery. For those who have listened to this conversation and are inspired by you, all the things that you've done, even that mindset there, what would be the final takeaway message that you have for our audience today? They close out this conversation. What do you want them thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew a little bit more about your audience. I know it's mostly running.
Let's
Um,
go ages of high school and college.
yeah,
Let's
okay.
do that
So,
subset.
yeah, man, like I think like here's the thing, like I think there's a lot of people out there like being like be patient and like like kind of like being patient is like really some, especially like in that like high school and college age. It's something really preached, and like I think that's true, but I also think it's important to like you just got to take advantage of your opportunities. Um, and like if you're really like passionate about it and you love it, like it's okay to like it's cool to like try hard and like try to be the best version of yourself and the best you can be. Like it's like it's not like it's okay to like want to be the best and be like and try hard. Like I think like there's like this narrative of for kids that age, like, oh, I only run like 30 miles a week and I ran like a 4:20, but like yeah, this guy ran like 60 and he ran a 4:15, like I'm better. And it's like, no, like the guy ran 4:15, he's better than you. Like with all due respect, like he's faster. Like sure, you might like they talk about potential and all that. So I guess like if you're in high school and college, like you just want to like it's okay to work hard and push, and like I think that's not like said enough. At least like from my perspective. And like yeah, like I've always been someone to kind of like train hard and push it, and like I'm still doing it, and I still feel like I'm improving, and you know, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know if that's a good message or not, or if that even is a message. But I guess that's what I'm telling you.
No, it's good. It's raw. It's unfiltered. That's what we love. Morgan, final question for you. The question I ask every guest on every single podcast. We know you don't make fancy meals, so whatever you make, that's okay. If you had Gordon Ramsay coming over to your house for dinner, what would you choose to make for him?
I'm making it for him.
Your chef, yeah, Chef Morgan Pearson.
Ooh. For dinner, I'm making tacos.
Okay.
It's a good
Are you cutting
meal.
an onion this time?
Yeah, I'll
Will
put
you
the
get fancy
onion.
for Gordon? Okay.
I'll put the onion in there. Put some seasoning in there. I get I don't really. I'm not a big seasoning guy. Not like I don't like it, but I just like I could do a better job at seasoning. So maybe I put some seasoning in there. Yeah, man, I think he'd like it. I don't know.
Well, Morgan, really appreciate the conversation. Thanks so much for hopping on here, taking us through some of your rules, your wisdom, your mindset for the future. And yeah, you're an inspiration, man. Your work ethic, I think, is second to none and has always been an inspiration and guiding light for me. So keep crushing it, and excited to see you crush it in Abu Dhabi here soon.
Yeah, man, appreciate that.